having said all of that, blah, 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 I would just like to move to the movements tomorrow. For those of you that don't like to get out of bed,
taking part in some of the commemorations here on the south side of what became known as Joe's Bridge, and fairly in a moment or two we're going to be crossing over the bridge to go north, heading off on the route that 30 Corps would have been taking. Right, so we're just leaving VALKENSWAARD to head on further up the 30 Corps route. Oh.
The vehicle hasn't broken down, but tomorrow is the long run of the week, and we decided it's safer to take it on the trailer. We've done the first 2 days quite successfully, about 10-12 miles each day. It really ran well. We still have some questions about the hubs. They're running a bit warm, not hot but warm, and it's one of those better safe than sorry. So we saw an empty trailer in front of us and we thought, ooh, could you give us a lift basically?
We have a quad here towing a limber and 25-pounder. The 25-pounder for the field artillery batteries is that superb bit of British equipment that, again, as they're working their way forward, set up very quickly and can lay down a barrage with a 25-pound high explosive charge, which is second to none. Got everything under the sun here, all beautifully presented by the owners, the societies, these little groups of guys who come together. And again, we're from the Tank Museum. We're that little tip of the iceberg. There is that massive collection of superb vehicles in private and other people's hands. And on a morning like this, when you see them all here, boy, what a credit is it to those blokes who have spent all those hours putting them together. And in a sense, this is like kind of their moment, being able to see these things in a column like this, something we'll probably never see again. This is a bit of an improvised tank chat, and this vehicle is a Sexton. The issue behind this is they want mobile self-propelled artillery, and initially in the British Army we like the 25-pounder gun. It can fire a 25-pound HE shell, which is very impressive. It's a superb piece of artillery. So when the Canadians are building initially the Ram tank and then they move on to the Grizzly, when they realise that actually the Americans are making enough Sherman tanks, we don't actually need to carry on making the Grizzlies. Production changes in Canada from initially the Ram and then the Grizzly onto making Sextons.
The vehicle, just the M4A4, is here as well, made it safely. It had a brief issue during the day. It had to do one of the sections on a Dutch Army transporter low loader because there was a problem with the engine. One of the governors forced the carburetor open, so the engine speed was too high. They had to shut it down. They then recovered it. They found the problem very quickly. Gavin and his team diagnosed the problem. They managed to do a temporary fix and get here quite late when the sun was already setting, and we heard it coming in the background, so we're very proud that they achieved it and came here. It was a perfect ending to the day, a long day.
We all pronounce this wrongly, so forgive me if you're Dutch. GROESBEEK. And we're now on a position where all the vehicles are parked up, and it's been a long day for a lot of people driving the vehicles. There's a lot of sore shoulders, numb backsides, and everyone's having a well-deserved beer and trying to settle down. But it's been a really interesting day, very emotional. We've stopped at a number of places, we've met some very interesting people as we've progressed up 30 Corps route. So fair bit of maintenance to do, trying a bit of a tinkering with the vehicles, so keep watching. So just to sum up, what ended up happening, Dingo made it, the Morris, much to all of our amazement as it were, made it all the way here. The Daimler, we took off the low load and this just had a run this morning. The Sherman's got a bit of engine trouble, but that's about to be picked up. So we're all here, we've made it all the way through the different runs as part of the 30 Corps route. And some of the things we picked up on the way, we've all had a wonderful experience. The Royal Netherlands Army has been fantastic hosts for us. The Dutch people are just stunningly kind and so good about remembering these events and putting on so much effort and energy into all these commemorations that are going on at the moment over the whole of this week. Airborne Arnhem, the 30 Corps route, the American landings, the Poles at drill, all these different things have been going on. Things we've picked up on, how tiring it is driving vehicles for even relatively short spaces of time, but most of us don't do it. How we've all got almost like carbon monoxide poisoning from when we've been driving in columns, you know, that idea, and sore eyes, all those things. And just circling that back, it makes you understand just a fraction more what those young soldiers back there went through when they were doing it for real. And I emphasise that because we've been playing, let's not be kidding ourselves. We've had a whale of a time, we've been enjoying ourselves, we've got friendly people around us all the time. We haven't got an enemy to fight. So just as if we're battling keeping these vehicles going, that is nothing compared to what those young men were actually doing 75 years ago. And again, I think everyone here's got that, because every time we go past the Commonwealth War grave, all the guys are looking, doffing their hats, paying their respects, and that to me would be that last little point I'd like to make. You know, it's great fun for us, it's great fun and great that we can share that with you, our experiences of doing this, but we're just playing. They did it for real. If you do like the product we're putting out on YouTube, our tank chats, the various other things we're doing, if you can support us, we are an independent charity, that would really help. So subscribe to these broadcasts we make, and please, if you've got the opportunity, help supporting us by joining our patron scheme.